Hating someone of another race does not prove that you have love for your own. This is hitting home for me a little bit. I am Native and I'm mixed with Black. So that's what I'm talking about in this article. We're going over the Pretendians winning their cases. I don't believe in Pretendians. There's no such thing as Pretendians. People say the meanest shit to other people, trying to get them to hate themselves. If you feel that someone, look, if someone's saying that they're Native, if they're not connected to their tribe, you need to respectfully and nicely get them to the genealogist of their tribe. Off topic, my cousin he feels, and I agree with him, he's Oneida, and he feels that the blood quantum is unconstitutional, and I agree too. No other race in this world needs 16% or more to have a card. And, you know, these cards came from Europe. All these are European rules that they go over to other countries trying to enslave the people in all different type of ways. And that's what happened to us in America. When I went up my bloodline, majority of my ancestors that were Native American are my color. And I said, aha, that's why they were coming over to slaughter us. Majority of them look like me. Duh. Come on, you guys. Look at what's going on in the world today. Look what's going on in the world today and how people still act the same today, doing the things that they were doing in the past. I say this all the time. People who have European descent do not have the right to tell someone who has indigenous or aboriginal blood that you can't come to different parts of the America. Canada, Middle America, and South America are all the Americas. Canadian Americas, South Americans, we are all indigenous to this land. So it's crazy for someone with European descent with zero Indian blood. You come over here and you start making cards and you start putting people on reservations and you start telling us what to do. And the truth is you came to another land and you need to listen to the rules over here. You need to listen to the tribes and the First Nations and you need to abide by those rules. Rule number 1, you are not supposed to be raping women. And that's why you got a lot of bad luck. Women make more men. So if you're harming women, you're harming men. I don't believe none of that shit. The tribes used to rape each other. How come when I went to the nation and I learned from the people of the tribe who were within the nation, how come I learned very different from what the white man had told me, looking from the outside in? When I started to go to my tribe and when I started learning from natives, that they respected women, and if you didn't, they would exile you. And if they believed that you would live in exile and that another tribe would take you in, they would torture you in front of the tribe to show you don't do this to women. So, but anyways, I want to talk about the Pretendians, you guys. I want to talk about how y'all are really you're letting the white man turn you to be racist against your own kind. And it's getting wild, and it's helping the white man eliminate, the racist white man, pale face, eliminate our tribes. But they already did this Holocaust stuff over there in Germany and it didn't work. So they try to go to another land and they try to do their stuff again. You guys cannot listen to their lies. It will get you to hurt yourself and your own tribe. I need to stress that when you're getting people back to their tribe, it's not something that you put online and slander people, someone's bloodline and start making fun of them. That's actually very ugly to go look up someone's bloodline without them. You need to ask them, hey, do you mind if we find your nationality together? If you guys are, practicing genealogists, or you're not really a genealogist, or you're good at finding someone's bloodline and, you could be a genealogist. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I wish how a lot of people are learning their native blood. I wish a lot of y'all ran into natives like how I ran into natives. Instead of them being ugly and making fun of me, how the colonizer ripped me from the tribe and I'm learning about it and I didn't know. People guided me back to my tribe. Please natives, you know what I'm talking about. We have got to do this. We have got to walk people back to the tribe. So there's a woman who is being sued. I'm just going to break it down for you guys. This First Nation woman from Canada, she's being sued by 4 Pretendians. And the First Nation woman, that's what I'm going to call her, she says she's doing identity protection. And that's what I'm explaining through this article. You're not protecting us. You're making us look bad. Like, okay, when I'm mixed with Caribbean and Native. So when the Caribbeans come to me, they're like, you know, Natives look really good. They look real, like we look like we're very peaceful, like we care for nature, like we care for people. So when they learn that Native Americans are racist towards dark skin and black natives, they're hollering at me, but not at me. They're hollering because they can't understand it. They're like, what? I thought that we were cool, you know, putting it in layman's terms. And the truth is that no, the lighter natives told me not all of them, but they tell me how their older siblings, like their uncle or whatever, their older relatives, teach them how all black is bad. And that what they're listening to is coming from the colonizer. Our elders from the nations do not talk like that one bit. All right, so there's 4 women, 3 whom position working for indigenous communities are collectively seeking more than $500,000 in damages. Or people who are white and they say, oh, I'm black. The black people adopt me. We go, ha ha ha, yeah, Stacy. Okay, the black people. But we don't sue you over it. We go, yeah, she wishes she was us. It's how cute. But we don't sue you over it. And she's telling them in the wrong way that they're Ukrainian. So when she found out that there were people who thought that they were native, and you do have native blood, but it's not to this land. It's over to Ukraine. First Nation woman is being sued for calling 4 women pretendians. And the plaintiff is seeking more than 500 damages and retraction to heavily publicized comments made by them. I'm going to say First Nation woman or First Nation lady because it's easier to refer her as that and so you don't get confused. She's the head of this group that Ghost Warrior Society, and she says that she's conducted research for safeguard community spaces designated for indigenous people and Aboriginal. Say those pretending to be indigenous pose a real harm to the community and nations. That's a lie. And then when people lie and say that I'm making money off of being native, and let's just go ahead and bust your bubble and break your heart. No, I make more money by letting people believe I'm black. I met another black native like me. I forgot what tribe he was from. It was from a small tribe a little bit further up from me. And he sells beads, and with his native membership, we usually don't tell anybody about our memberships, but with his membership, that's how he's able to go get the gems from the ground. And he doesn't tell anyone about his membership, and he sells the beads as a black man, and he makes a very good living. And yeah, this is how we have to hide our identity. Sorry, I said our secret, you guys. But it's bugging me so much that they're lying, talking about if I find out, and they even have black people who don't know indigenous blood, tricking them, saying if I find out that you're selling beads as a native, I'm gonna get I'm call whoever the fuck and sue you and shit. Surprise, bitch. None of us say we're native. We don't say shit. We just let you look at us and just let you think what you want to think. That's where that came from. Yeah, like that dude said to me, oh, I just let him think I'm black, and then I make my living. And he was enjoying himself. He was smiling. He was loving life. He was giving people what they're paying for. So that is a lie. People who, I already went over that. I don't understand why people are getting mad that people are pretending to be native. No one's pretending to be native. These people really think they have indigenous blood. And we need to help them back to their tribe. And if they find out that they don't have indigenous blood, that does not mean that you slander them all over line and make fun of them. That is the wrong thing to do. That doesn't make us look good. It makes us look bad. Conducted research into their backgrounds and concluded that they were Ukrainian heritage, not indigenous to America. You got to be specific for these people. And then engage in relentless social media campaign against them. So that's where the First Nation lady fucked up. You can't be making fun. I know y'all did that on TikTok. Y'all can't be, because TikTok is where the most racist natives are. On Facebook, they're not bad. They'll educate you. In my opinion, Instagram has the best natives that welcome you. And when I was on Instagram and I would go throughout the nation, they would be like, oh, you're over here in my territory. You're over here in Muskegee territory. You're over here by this nation. You should come down to Seminole and stuff like that. So I know this is on TikTok where that berating and bullying was. Court documents say that she is accused of calling them grifters. I hate this new insult that y'all are making. Liars and racists who exploit the false claim of indigenous heritage for personal gain. All that is a lie. Dude, they weren't on, I bet you, I didn't see any of that, but I bet you they weren't on TikTok like collecting money. Like, yeah, I'm native. Let me get that money. Let me get that money. And then on top of it, you guys are fucking tripping, dude. Talking about reparations. Let me tell the truth. Reparations for males are $5,000 a year. When people hear that, they laugh. We need, in the colonizer world, you can't live off of $5,000 a year. You need that a month, and you need more than that. And then for the women, it's $3,000 a year. So whatever money you get from being native, it's not a lot. The truth is, it's this First Nation woman who wishes to make money off of just sitting around being native. And there's nothing wrong with getting benefits for your heritage that you're able to collect from the government that they offer for these programs. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm really getting annoyed how y'all learn from white people that y'all go up to strangers without proof. Kind of like Trump, y'all are saying everybody's a liar. And don't be careful who you copy. That might come back and bite you in the butt and mess you up. But for this Nation woman girl, it already did. 4 Pretendians sued her for slander and they won. And try not to be ugly, guys, to Pretendians. Try to seriously sit down and reflect and analyze yourself and say, you know what? Let me be the one to help these natives get back home and back to their tribe. Be like that. The 4 women, 3 who work in indigenous communities. How nice. They love us. And another thing about Pretendians, dude, why are y'all insulting them? If somebody's pretending to be us, they love native culture. They love natives. We have enough people who hate natives. Can we get more people out in the world who love natives, please? Stop teaching us to hate. Stop teaching them to hate us. Stop teaching us to hate us. That's actually why that's why most of us don't claim the native blood, is because the golden ones start being racist to us. And it's because Andrew Jackson put y'all on that reservation, and it's that trauma. And we have trauma too. And our trauma's worse. But we don't show it because we got ripped from you. And y'all act like we just walked up out the tribe. No, dude. When my grandpa was telling the other people around him, he was saying, don't go. Don't go. And he was like, my family's explaining to me, you know, the other people around were so scared though. And so they felt they had to walk the trail of tears. And the Nation is who taught me that my family, along with some others, did not. But I understand what happened to my family. So keep in mind that, you know, your life might be similar to me, but your life is your life and my life is mine. All right? Y'all might be learning from me a little bit about what happened to your family. Or what happened to your family might be a little bit different. So one guy said in an interview, you know, that he was a light native. And he was saying, well, these Pretendians, you know, we ruled that we're correct, that they're Pretendians. Why are they winning the case? What you got to understand, natives, you cannot be ugly to someone else, letting them know if they're native or not. Do not be ugly. Try not to be ugly. And I don't want to hear no other motherfucking light native saying to me, no black person should be making fun of us, because we don't. You need to see the trauma black people have. You need to see how they got hurt too. And you need to see how they're trying to side with you. They're also at all times trying to side with white people. We're trying to side with everyone, and we're trying to show you we are human beings. The lawsuit against the First Nation woman says that it began last year in October 2024. The First Nation woman has engaged in relentless campaign against the plaintiffs that they have endured significant harm to personal and professional reputations. The quote, serious psychological harm, bless you girl, loss of income, how people look for a scapegoat, loss of academic opportunities throughout their bloodline, and loss of business opportunities, end quote. So this is the Ukrainian, was adopted by a non-indigenous couple and was informed later that she was indigenous. She has indigenous heritage. So, you know, she heard that from the family. So a lot of people, when you're not able to get birth certificates going up your bloodline, then we're going to do a blood test. Okay. Oh, the quantum, by the way, fuck that quantum. I already said in the beginning of this, right? That 16% quantum, that's from European people who came over here and told us how we're going to rule us. When you could be British, you could be 2% British, they'll claim you. You could be 2% French, and you can say you're French. You could be 2% German, and you can say you're German. And no, that's not true if you say you're 2% indigenous. There's plenty of people who have 0% African DNA. There's plenty of people who have 0% indigenous DNA, and they're on American land. No, in order to have the percent, it means that you actually have it in your blood. You can't fake that. So this is what's getting annoying. As I was growing up, natives still say and always said, as long as you have the blood. So we're not going off that no more, are we? We're trying to push what the white man is put on us. That blood quantum, 16% that no other race has to abide by on this planet, is going to wipe us out, and it already is. It doesn't affect me. I'm 50%. I'm more than 50%, but thank you to my ancestors. Okay, bless you for being adopted. And I think this First Nation girl was adopted too, or someone was in the scoop. While looking into the family, something First Nation said that she does only after receiving 10 complaints from the public. What the fuck? Who died and made you the genealogist of all the tribes? I got 10 complaints that this bitch ain't really native, so I gotta go look this up. When you keep focusing on bringing down other people, you will constantly bring yourself down. We have got to figure out how to raise up other people. The court document says that the First Nation woman reached out to the Ukrainian girl for information about her heritage, and she explained the adoption. How ugly, dude. You're reaching out to her to figure out her heritage, but you're doing it in a malicious way. That's crazy, because she probably accepted you like, oh, yay, I'm going to learn where I'm from. I'm going to learn all about my blood. But no, you used it to hurt her, to try and make her cry. And you have to realize that that's what the colonizers did to us. We cannot turn around and do that to other people. The First Nation woman, in turn, presented with her research and concluded that she is Ukrainian descent and began to broadcast the information on social media platforms, messaging the four women saying slander, and she wants them removed. Crazy. You know, it's okay to say, hey, did you actually know that your bloodline is Ukraine? And look what I found. And actually, you have native blood over in Ukraine. And that's where your tribe is from. And don't they have the Siberians over there and all that stuff? Or they're Asian, right? But still, I know there's tribes over in Ukraine. And that's not, you did not help her learn her bloodline, correct? You still didn't help. Please stop. Because I thought she won the lawsuit. But these people can win the lawsuit on slander. That's how Trump wins his, even when he's in the wrong. But stop making fun of these pretendians. They're not pretendians. They're trying to figure out where they're from. Please help them figure out where they're from, because the colonizer has done work on all of us more than you think. Dude, I remember that bonnet boss girl from TikTok who was from Nigeria. Did you know that due to the colonizer going to Africa and trying to enslave the people within their own land, there are Africans in Africa who don't even know what tribe they're from. And they taught me this. Thank you, Africa. There are some people who know their tribe, just like us in America. And there are some people, due to the colonizer, who got ripped from their tribe, and they had to do the same as me. They had to go back to their tribe and figure out where they're from. Yeah, and then that Bonnet Boss girl would sit up there making fun of other people's tribes. The whole time she didn't know if she was Mazai or Funali. Please get people back to their tribe in a respectful way. It makes us look good. Thanks for your subscriptions, y'all. See you next time.
I pretend like their insults don't get to me. But they do.
You know what's more destructive than a nuclear bomb?
Words.
And the people are jealous of a man like you and me. It's as though they despise us because they are not us.
Hate us because they ain't us.
Exactly. They hate us because they ain't us. That's a great saying, okay?
Hate us because they ain't us!
They hate us because they ain't us.